In this video, I'm going to talk about the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters coming to consoles potentially soon, and I say potentially for a reason. Do you remember June of 2021 when there was a promotional trailer that was released for the Pixel Remasters? I know I do. And I also remember being a bit let down that they were only going to be released on mobile phones and PC for literally 3 years now. I've mentioned to a few people about how I would spend any monetary amount for the first 6 games being released on Switch in a sort of package deal. And here they were on the way. In my little mind, I envisioned myself playing these games on my Switch and taking them to bed with me to fall asleep playing them just as I had growing up so many years ago. I mean, a man can dream, can he? But of course we know now that that was not meant to be, and because of that, people immediately took to the forums and comment sections of articles and videos and screamed at Square for not releasing these games on any sort of console. Some of these people went so far as to rate the games a low rating because they weren't on consoles yet, which, I mean, doesn't help anything. In fact, Square themselves said that if the games sold well and they were well received, they would eventually come out on consoles. Being well received, by the way, means the opposite of giving it a 1 out of 10 rating. I'm just not so sure it's a good thing. Well, fast forward to now with all 6 of the Pixel Remasters released, and now that they've been out for a while, there hasn't been any official word of a console release as of yet. Or has there? You see, when I'm looking for video ideas or when I'm curious as to when certain games will be released, I always check the developer's website for updates and potential release dates. And that's when I found something very interesting that no one else has covered yet. At least no one that I've seen anyway. Well, if we head over to Square Enix's upcoming games page, we can see the list of games that have already been announced and some release dates. And then towards the bottom we see some to-be-announced dates and some distant future releases that they've talked about. However, look at the very bottom of the page. And there it is. Now, I was a little thrown off by this, and actually I thought that the website was glitching out, and it made me say to myself, wait, they're already out. Why is it to be announced? And then it finally hit me that games on this list are upcoming games. Now, while this isn't necessarily an announcement of any sort, this kind of says to me that Square has them in the works, and they're waiting for the right time to bring this to light. What time might that be? Honestly, you guys know way more about that sort of thing. I'm just presenting information that I thought was interesting. But all of this comes with a question. What will be the price point of all 6 of these games on console? And we'll get to that in just a second. I think it's important first to think about this. With the release of Crisis Core Reunion coming to Switch along with every other console in December, it tells me that they're actively creating games to be on these consoles. So the Pixel Remasters may already be in the works alongside everything else, and they're gonna just release everything at once. Surely they've seen the sheer amount of comments stating that a good chunk of the fans won't even touch the remasters until they're out on console, overwhelmingly singling out the Nintendo Switch. I've already bought them for PC, but myself included. Going back to the price point, Amazon already has a pre-order of Crisis Core Reunion for the price of $49.99. But that's only 1 game, not 6. As of the time of writing on Steam, the Pixel Remasters come to an average price of just over $12 per title, equaling around $75 or so for the whole bundle. $95 if you're buying them on mobile devices and no bundle. So what could this mean for the console release? Well, I'm not 100% sure myself. I could see them lowering the price due to the fact that so many people want them, but I could also see them raising the price knowing it'll sell well. I could see it go either way. For me though, I think if they slap a price tag of $59.99 on them and send them out to everyone, it would be a really solid way to not only please the fans, but honestly it wouldn't be a ton of work on their part. I mean, really, what kind of changes would they have to make to port them over? They've already ported some of these games 1,000 times to every device imaginable, so maybe it's not that difficult. I'm no programmer or anything, so I don't know. But I do know that I'll be keeping an eye out for any sort of official release, and actually, if you're not sure whether you should even buy the Pixel Remasters, go ahead and click on this video where I do an in-depth analysis on the yeses and nos of whether you should or shouldn't. Maybe you'll find your way into the series.